Boa tarde a todos. O nosso próximo orador vem de uma das empresas organizadoras do Porto TechHub, a Farfetch, uma empresa que aposto que certamente muitos de vocês conhecem. O Sérgio vem a fazer uma metáfora com o pinball e vai certamente surpreender com a sua talk. Obrigada e bem-vindo.
Olá, boa tarde. Meu nome é Sergio Oliveira, eu sou Lead Developer da Farfetch, mas hoje venho falar de pinball. Quando eu aceitei o desafio... Desculpem. Let's get back in English. I needed to change the chip. Well, my name is Sergio Oliveira and I'm Lead Developer at Farfetch. When I accepted the challenge to lead my first team, I was kind of overwhelmed. I wanted to know what makes a good leader. So I started browsing around and came across this gentleman. His name is Gerald Winberg. Among other things, he's a writer. And this book is the one I found and read. And I've discovered that he's a pinball wizard. Well, I'm not here to talk about leadership. I'm here to talk about pinball. And I'll tell you the story how we became so good at pinball. Well, it all began when he was a kid. He loved pinball, but back then, keep in mind that he's 81 years old. When he was a kid, he was about the 40s. And his parents didn't like the idea of him playing pinball because machines were found on pool halls. And who knows, pool halls wasn't the place for a kid to grow. He might grow too fast. So they bought a machine and put it home. But his father was worried that he wouldn't give the money the worth it deserved, so he made him pay for each game he wanted to play. It was 5 cents for 5 balls. For a kid back then, 5 cents was a lot of money. He wanted to play, so in order to play a long time, he needed to be good at it. He found the push to make him learn how to improve his pinball skills. In other hand, he had a neighbor named Oswald that had a machine at home also, but their parents let him play for free, and he was the worst player at the neighborhood, because whenever he was in trouble at the game, he would just reset the machine and start over again. The motivation he found from the necessity to be good at it in order to play more was the first thing he thought, well, this is one of the things that made me good at it. But is it enough? Well, as he grew old, the money wasn't the problem. He started to work, he earned a lot of money, and 5 cents for him wasn't anything. He could play at pool halls already, and his skills hit a plateau. He didn't improve at the same rate he had when he had the motivation, the push. However, pinball became mainstream, and there started to championships, regional championships. Well, he wanted trophies. So he found he found it again, the motivation to improve, and it turned for better. As he won this championship, he became known as a pinball master, not a wizard yet. But every kid looked at him like a superhero. Well, he's so old and he plays so well. Teach me. He said that those kids were so eager to learn. They all had the motivation, but some of the times lacked the ideas, the things you need to experiment, to think about out of the box, to get out of your comfort zone. He said, well, it would just take 1 hour looking at someone playing pinball and say, well, if you play like this or like that, they absorbed it and they would improve. Well, this is another condition. You need to have ideas. Motivation, it's not enough. if you don't know how to do it, how to accomplish what you want to accomplish. He found that another thing that some kids, some kids have motivation enough. They listened to him, got his ideas, but they weren't organized in the way that, well, I need to do this. As an example, he said there was this kid that every time he played, he pushed both flippers. Whoa. He pushed both flippers at the same time and he lost the ball. Everyone that plays pinball knows that you can't push the both flippers at the same time. Well, these kids lack the organization to pick up the motivation, gather the ideas, and organize them in order to improve yourself. Well, this is the model that he created, the 3 things that you need to have in order to be good at something. Well, you need to want to do it, you need to have an idea, and you need to be organized to pursue that idea. Well, we know what he had to become good. Let's see how the steps that allowed him to become this good. Well, at a certain point, he started to record his scores at the machines. Whenever he started to play a new machine, he would score the points. He would register the score he had. And if you look at 4 points parsed in time, this is an example of 4 points that you might see. When you see this map, this chart, you can say, well, as long as I play long enough, I'll be good. This is the conclusion you can see. That's not a big conclusion. We all know that. At middle school, we were taught to improve our writing just by doing it again and again and again. When I was reading this, is really? You needed 40 years of playing pinball to get this conclusion? There must be something else. In fact, that is. He started to analyze deeper the data, and he saw something like this, that he had a plateau that's whenever he was playing the same way, yeah, by repetition, he got better. But at some point, he had a spike, the great leap, he calls it. And he started to analyze what happened here. Well, this is when he picked up an idea. I can do this in a different way and implement it. As an example, at Dark Knight, a pinball machine, he learned that if he did a certain combination, he could put on the game 3 balls at the same time. When you had 3 balls in play, every hit would count as a triple. When he mastered it, his scores rised up again. Keep in mind, this was the ideas that he had and put it in place. Well, but we need to be careful. Whenever you try a new idea, whenever you get out of your comfort zone, he recognized at the left chart, you can see an example of the leap. Before a leap, you had a ravine that's saying, okay, I'm trying something new. I have this idea. Immediately after, your productivity goes down. Well, you're trying something new. Of course, you're not that good. You need repetition. You need experience to improve and to adapt to something new. And then there was the leap. At the right chart, we have the actual recording of the Dark Knight pinball machine from Gerald Weinberg. And as you can see, there are several ups and downs, but you can see the pattern that comes from the leaps. And you can see the ravines. We need to keep in mind, have the organization to see, okay, well, not every idea is good. When I try new ideas, I need to be aware and know if I'm falling in a ravine without a leap. well, you can try something and you can reach the conclusion that that was not good enough. I'm not saying we shouldn't try these things. Sometimes you just know, you just can validate them if they're good if you try them. However, there's a great leap. When I read this, it all made sense to me. I started looking back at my experience, my skills, and I started to think, well, did I have the requirements? Did I have the motivation, the ideas, and the organization to improve them? I found those. There's a curious thing. When we have the ideas doesn't mean they need to come from us. Sometimes we have a network of friends, someone with whom we can talk to them and gather them ideas and try them. We just need to have the organization and the skills. Well, what does this model, why did this model was on a leadership book? We can apply this model as well as ourselves, but to our teams. As a leader, if I want my team to grow, I need to provide them the motivation to help them want to improve as a team. I need to foster the ideas, to get them all talking together, gather ideas, and to provide the organization necessary for them to implement. If I am aware of the stages of improving something, if I know that you can try new things by just organizing, having the plateau, I'm getting better at little by little, but I need this time to organize the ideas that I had, and I need to be prepared for the ravines. But I need to be aware also to help the team to realize if I'm falling in a ravine for never to come back. If you want to improve, I would advise you to be aware, just the awareness of this model. It's a help for you to understand, do I have the requirements necessary? Do I need to adapt something? And if you are aware of the steps, the several steps that come from the improvement, you might know, well, now I'm the phase of the organization. Now I need to master this new idea, or now I'm in the phase of giving the leap. I need a new idea. I need to talk to someone else. I need to gather and to try these ideas. Well, this is what I had shared with you. Thank you.